What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, and I'm back with another installment of Dangerous Minds. This is a special episode because today I got a hip hop legend, Eternal the MC. Much love to you, man. I appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, bro. I've been waiting for this moment, man. I was like, when you go, you know what I mean? You gonna hit me up, you know what I'm saying?
I had to get the setup right. Now that we on LinkitTV, I had to make, I got a platform big enough for a legend like yourself.
Word, man.
Definitely
I'm
shout out to Lincoln
grateful.
TV for for sponsoring this, for
hmm
giving us a new platform to showcase artists like yourself.
hmm
You know, first of all, how's everything been? Outside opening up now, and I know quarantine was hard on a lot of artists. So
hmm
how has everything been going for you?
Hype, man. We back outside, we keeping it safe, but we back outside. And us artists, performers, we love being in front of the people, getting that interaction, that energy. So I'm loving it myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Calendar been filling up thanks to y'all, you know what I'm saying? So like
Oh, word.
keep it coming. You know what I mean? Just we ready. We ready. We've been sitting on this music, been sitting on these ideas that we ready to bring them out to the world again.
Yo, word. Matter of fact, I think you performed some new joints at the show. I saw a show of yours back in June,
hmm
at the Arcade of Thrones.
Yeah,
Yeah, you.
appreciate you coming, man. Appreciate you
Oh,
coming
no
first and
problem, man.
foremost. Yeah. Man, that was my first performance, first live performance since the quarantine. So my energy was on super high. You know what I mean? And yeah, I did a couple of joints off my next album, and then I
Mhm.
did some of the classics I got, and the people just reacted in the way I wanted them to. You know what I mean? They was loving it. It was a
Oh
great
yeah.
show. Yeah.
I mean, for
hmm
one, I came out to support you, but also just like you always put on a good show. Like everybody was dope that night, but it just the energy changed when you got up there. You brought a different feel to
Word up.
the event, and it was dope, man. It was dope seeing how the people just gravitated to it the way it did. Uh, so I called you a legend because like Mr. Carolina Hip Hop came up and he gave you your flowers while you were up there, and I'd been thinking about that, but just in that moment, like, how did you feel? Like, do you consider yourself a NC hip hop legend?
Always got more work to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's how I look at it. It's always more work to be done. There's always more ways to give back and to build upon your legacy. You know what I mean? So like
hmm
that felt good because I haven't met Mr. Carolina, Brother Shaheed. I haven't met him in the flesh until that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that came from left field. I didn't even know that was coming. But it shows, that people are recognizing, you know what I mean? Like so that felt good, you know what I'm saying? That
Oh,
felt good.
definitely, man. It was dope seeing it because I've known you for a while. I've been following your music for a while, so it was dope, seeing somebody like you get their props, like in that moment. And I could tell you was a little caught off guard
hmm
by it, so it's dope that you was able to get that because I know
Well,
you were just kind of happy, kind of like to get back out there since outside
yeah.
being open, so kind of
Yeah.
getting that thing started. So I'm gonna ask you some questions about like kind of like how did things get started for you? Like what kind of was your introduction into hip hop and that got you to this point?
Well, my introduction was back home in Brooklyn, New York City.
Mhm.
Um, so I pretty much grew up in the Mecca of hip hop and just waking up. I didn't even know, I was incorporating the elements of hip hop and everything like that. Just
Oh,
walking down the
dope.
block, going to school, the clothes I was rocking, the way I was walking, you know what I mean? My little bop and
Yeah.
everything like that. Freestyling with my big brother. Now, my big brother, he's a main catalyst to why I rap now. Like,
Oh, that's dope.
we used to have the action figures and we used to get it in, like emulating our neighborhood, So he would be kicking his freestyle, and then I kick a freestyle. I remember times where I started when I was 8, but I remember I couldn't put like 4 bars together. I could get like 2 off, and then
Mhm.
I'd be done, get back to the toys and whatnot, and just build it upon that, not even knowing I was training myself for this day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was my
Yo, that's dope.
introduction.
Yeah,
hmm
I was thinking about when you said it because like I started off, I was 7 and I rapped like Little Scrappy when I first started rapping. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like you just building it up. It's just a lot of hopping and like yelling and stuff. It's just kind of crazy how you
hmm
where you start and then kind
hmm
of like where you are now. Because the
Right.
way you craft your bars is crazy. Just
Right.
it's like it's very witty, creative, but it's relatable. Like you're like it's
Mhm.
very digestible to where people can come with, they can be impressed with your technique and also understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I
And I
appreciate that, bro.
Oh
Word
yeah,
up.
no problem, man. And like I really got that from your last project, Age of Eternal.
Mhm.
I ran back through that. I told you right before we started recording. I ran back through that, preparing for the interview, and I was really just it really captured. It came out before 2020 and how everything went, but just with the way you were talking about kind of a lot of relatable topics of what people were feeling during the 2020 like riots and during the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and just that conflict was real heavy last year.
Yeah.
And like what first before I ask you the next question, what was your inspiration behind this project, your most recent project?
Um. Well, you know, once again, I thank you. I thank you for like listening to Age of Eternal and
Hmm.
and digesting it the way I feel the people would digest it. So it means I got my concept and my point across the way I wanted to. That's
Oh,
dope. But Age of Eternal was actually my first joint in 2015. Yeah,
wow.
Dive
See,
Deep
I looked at
is
the
my second
release
studio
date.
joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See,
Wow.
see, I re-released it sort of on my own distribution, so it kind of shows a date that's later than Dive Deep. But Dive Deep is actually my second album. Yeah, Age
Okay.
of Eternal. But the thing about it is like Age of Eternal. My inspiration, one of my inspirations behind that was the Age of Aquarius, and they said during that
Mm.
time it was going to be a huge enlightening. It's going to be a lot of, destruction, a lot of evil phasing itself out, but it's going to be a age of enlightenment as well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
myself, my zodiac is Aquarius, so I was like, yo, this all aligns with what I'm trying to do. So of course, like the great Nina Simone said, it's
Hmm.
responsibility of us artists to, you know, display and speak on the time. So and I'm paraphrasing. That's not the actual quote, but it's
Oh
along
yeah.
those lines. I don't want to disrespect the legend, but yeah, I definitely wanted to, give a little inkling of who I was as a person, but also talk
Hmm.
about the atrocities that are going on, and it's still it resonates today because unfortunately we still going through some of the same BS that we've been going through, in the last
Yeah.
decade, in the last 100 years, in the last 1,000 years, So as long as this evil is out there, we gotta fight the power. That's how I look at it. Hmm.
Man, it's crazy when you said that because like I'm listening to it and it just feels like you would have dropped it last year and it still would have been relevant. But the fact that you dropped it so long ago in 2015
Hmm.
and it's still as resonant as it is now, it's like it's both impressive and it's sad that
Yeah.
we're still it's still as like it's like we ain't even made any type of progress. It feels like a little bit,
Right.
which I mean that's just kind of part of it. We just got to keep speaking on what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, so because and it's funny because I thought that was your second project. My first like my first sit down with a project of yours was Dive
Hmm.
Deep, and like
Hmm.
I remember the anniversary of that one dropped not too long ago,
Yeah.
and yeah, I remember you wrote a post about how how much that project meant to you. How
Yeah.
like so what was the so I guess what was the inspiration behind that, and what kind of separates that from your first project, Age of Eternal?
Wow. That's a good question. Dang, my inspiration behind Dive Deep was like, first off, it's going to be a little bit more unfiltered.
Hmm.
I wanted to take the people through sort of like a journey of the African American psyche in
Hmm.
uh in this country, and it's a microcosm for the world because our people were being oppressed all over the world. It's not just America.
Hmm.
It's being broadcast a lot, but I wanted to take it. That's why I say dive deep. You hear the intro. We going through the water. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And we gonna purge ourselves. But you're gonna realize like we going through all of this from the first track, dive deep. We talking about, you know, the government and how they oppress in so many different ways, and not just us, but other people of color, you know what I mean? From building up the wall to, like, imagine like there is a coup. and your wife gets shot up, and you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
you see that happen right in front of your face, and then if you make a move, your kids are next, you know what I'm saying? To
Mm-hmm.
going down to my neighborhood, talking about how I grew up in Brooklyn and how it was like a war zone as well. Like, you know, I took them through a story through my verse of, like, you know, for example, let's skydive through a high rise without a parachute and crash course in the Badlands. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, and just take them through the city. Me growing up, like, I have to deal with this, even though I wasn't in the streets. Like, you either you know, a victim or a victor. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
from there, it's like, all right, then you coming into, not only do I have to deal with my neighborhood, but now I got to deal with these police. You know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
brutalizing my people and profiling me, and I got to navigate that as well. But I didn't want to stay there. That's the deep, we dive in deep part. But
Mm-hmm.
then we got to remember as we coming up, you know what I mean? Because you know when you dive deep, you and you coming
You
back
float
to the
up.
water,
Yeah.
it's concave. So we coming back up. We coming back up to who we are, the people. Remember, we are the creators. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we have that pineal gland that keeps us connected to the essence. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we can't forget that. Even though we fighting through the struggle, we can't forget that. We got to remember to speak life, for example. You know, one of the singles I had on the album, we got to speak life because, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue. You know what I'm saying? So we got to speak
Mm-hmm.
it. We got to believe it. That's what you believe is about. I wanted to end the album with that track because I believe, you know what I'm saying? Like what I preach, you know, I have to live. And if
Mm-hmm.
I live it, in its fullest capacity, then we gonna change the world. You know what I mean? So that
Oh
was
yeah.
my, yeah, that was my inspiration behind Dive Deep. I know that was a mouthful, my bad, but I
No,
get
no, that was
passionate when I
great.
talk about
That was
it.
great because like it
Yeah.
really does take you through the journey of like just kind of like your mindset and your thought process. I always love hearing that from people
Hmm.
like when they're creating whether it's music or art or just kind of whatever like creative space that they cultivate for themselves. I always like to hear like kind of where your mindset was, and with Dive Deep it did feel more personal, like it
Hmm.
would definitely drawing from personal experiences and like comparing that to the world and kind of like seeing outward while you're looking inward, which and then you said I'm sorry, it's been a little bit, it's called Speak Truth, Speak Life.
Speak life. Yeah.
Speak Life. Yeah, like
Hmm.
because it did feel like kind of you were coming up for air, kind of like that relief.
Hmm.
You've been trapped underwater, you're dealing with this, that, and the third.
Hmm.
What black people go through all
Hmm.
over the world,
Hmm.
and you kind of come out of the end of it like, yo, I made it.
Hmm.
Like it's bullshit, it's fucked up, but at least I'm still here and I still
Right.
have the ability to make that chance. And you kind of,
Exactly.
just the journey of the album plus, just kind of like the message itself behind that song, you definitely get that feeling from that track, which I
Thank you.
which I think is dope. So, like you mentioned how you grew up in Brooklyn. How'd you end up in North Carolina?
Oh, I came out here for school. Yep. I
Yeah, I saw you went to
graduated.
Shaw U.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta differentiate. I graduated from sure you know a lot of people go to college but they don't get to the finish line. So I graduated
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2011. You know what I mean? I got my bachelor's in psychology. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm
word.
even working on going to grad school in the
Oh,
next
dope.
year. So yeah, I want to really lock into um and let me know if I need to like slow it down so we can move on through the
No, no,
interview. I
no,
feel
no,
like,
no. We
you
keep it
know,
going.
yeah, like I want to really get in the realm of academia. You know, I teeter totter on it because I do a lot of speaking engagements
Mm-hmm.
and guest lectures, but I really want to be Professor at Howard, you know, hip hop
Dope.
sociology within the university. I want to make that a full-time thing and really transition and really be 100%
Mm-hmm.
within my purpose. I feel like my purpose in life. So yeah,
Wow,
more
that's
goals,
dope.
right? Always more work to be done. Hmm.
Oh, definitely, man. And that's really dope that you want to take the educational route. Like you definitely have that sense of like, you first of all, you were educated, brother. You could before I even knew about your degree, I could tell that from just speaking with you when you're listening to your music. And
Hmm.
then learning about the different speaking engagements that you do. It's
Hmm.
kind of dope. And you could definitely it's a the way you put the words together, you transition and then academia is definitely a is like a refreshing change. Is
Hmm.
is dope, and then I know the kids are gonna be in good hands with
Word.
that.
Right. I appreciate that, man. For real, for real.
So what is
Yeah.
your passion for that come from? Like as far as wanting to transition into education?
Well, I always wanted to learn. Always had a
So,
like an aptitude, you know what I mean, and a yearning to learn. I don't know if you remember the cartoon Animaniacs,
yeah, yeah.
but they had a little skit with the little girl who used to ask why all the time.
Hmm.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? That was
I
me
remember
growing
that.
up.
Yeah.
Like, why? I wanted to know everything. And I used to get frustrated if there wasn't like a definitive answer, you know? Because
Same.
a
Yeah.
lot of questions in life, you have to compose your own answer and
Hmm.
your own truth to it. So as I started to, mature in that, like, it won't always be like a right and a wrong. It'll be what it is, you know what I mean? Or you
Hmm.
have to decipher how you move from here. Then, it still wanted me to learn more, but then it made me confident to make my own decisions in life because it's like,
Hmm.
hey, it's your answer. Sometimes it's just your answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, my mother, she graduated from City College back in the 70s. So it was in me. I guess a second generation college kid because
Oh, dope. Okay.
the rest of my family didn't go to college, but it was a struggle. College was a struggle, you know what I mean? And the way I look at it now is like it's great. It teaches you a lot of things, but it's not
Hmm.
necessary to thrive in life. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. And whether I'm in school or not, I'm gonna continue to learn. I preach that to my son. Like grab a book. You know what I mean? Nas, for example,
Hmm.
he dropped out in what, seventh grade. Look at him
Yeah.
now. He's teaching at Harvard. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of us MCs, artists, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Engineers. I know venture capitalists, you know what I mean? That engineers. I didn't go to school, not one lick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I got the 4 year degree because I went to Central.
Word.
And I remember, they'll put in the job description that you need a degree. I worked at the
Hmm.
bank. Then it was just somebody just knew someone, or they just had experience somewhere else, and they just knew how to talk their way in the door, and they was able to get in. And
Yep.
you kind of look at those institutions a little different. I mean, I love the experience, cultivating like relationships and, just being able to kind of have those years in my life to grow up around my folks and like
Hmm.
kind of soak in, just
Hmm.
being able to connect with my people in that
Hmm.
way. But I probably could do without the debt.
Right. Right.
I
The
could
debt is
probably
a
do
killer.
without the debt. Yeah, it's like if I figured out I could do this, I could have did this without.
Hmm.
I probably would have did it differently. But either way, I'm grateful.
Right, right. And it opened doors and opportunities for us too. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
not gonna front like it didn't, you know what I mean? But it was hard and it was heartbreaking to realize that, institutions, are like business too. You know what I mean? At the
Right.
end of the day. So when I got that dose of reality, I was like, ah man, not the
Yeah, man.
education, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
like, yo, you turn the corner, everything just comes back to that dollar in America.
Hmm.
It always just comes back to the dollar in America.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yo, you being like a avid fan of like classic hip hop and just
Hmm.
MCs in general, like
Hmm.
what would be like your biggest pet peeve about hip hop right now? Like as far as kind of how things are right now, like what would you look at and say, this is what's kind of irritating me that's going on now that didn't happen before?
Um, I think it's less respect, way less,
Mm,
less respect as approaching, you know, hip hop in the realm of just studying. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you say, I mean, you're a part of it, right? You want to be a part of it. Like you should know what you want to be a part of. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just like you don't walk into, I, for example, here's a better analogy. I think you want to
Mhm.
be an NBA player, right?
Right.
But you don't know that if you walk with the ball instead of dribble it, that's a travel. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing? Like, come on, how you gonna play the game if you don't know the rules of the game? You know what I'm saying? Same with
Exactly.
like, how can you like? And a lot of people don't care about it because they're going for revenue as opposed
Mhm.
to there's an aspect of love there, but just the disrespect for like studying and being a gifted and wanting to be the best in your craft or the best of
Mhm.
your ability in a craft. You know what I mean? It's like I just feel like um people don't take it serious, and it really saturates the, the culture and the game. Well, it
Mm-hmm.
saturates the game. I won't say the culture, because people who know and are in it, they take it seriously, they embody it, they live it, they breathe it, and everything like that.
Oh yeah,
But
of course.
like, the way I look at it is, I try to like meet people at their level, and
Mm-hmm.
bring them up a little bit. You know what I mean? And if somebody's at a higher level than me, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to learn, and pick from their brain, and so I could get to that level. You know what I mean? So I just look at it, what can I do? You know what I mean? To like connect to the next generation. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of them veteran MCs that just frown and look down upon the next generation. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, whoever I can pull and get them to recognize, like, yo, it didn't start with you when your drill time and everything like that.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot that came into where you at now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at other professions, go back to NBA, you see how a lot of NBA players, they big up the Iversons and they big up the Kobe's and the Shaqs. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? It's love and respect there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like it should be the same for hip hop, because of course, it started with the party and the braggadocio, but
Mm-hmm.
still they had a lot of respect for each other, a lot of respect, a lot of more family unit. But then when that dollar came into play, it changed things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and I was saying that I remember we were talking about that right before the show I went to at Arcade of Thrones,
hmm
how everyone wants to be a rapper, but
hmm
nobody wants to actually rap. Like nobody wants to actually put in the time to get better and do this. It's all about trying to get in quick and get a dollar and like just kind of pimp the culture
hmm
instead of actually like contributing to the culture. Like it's
exactly.
and then I think it's just recently there's been like uh this trend of just blatantly disrespecting the past. Like there's be times in the like maybe like mid late 2000s people started just kind of like not even acknowledging the past or not acknowledging the legends,
hmm
but now they're
hmm
just blatantly saying, oh, I don't rap over them old beats, talking about premiere beats, or
hmm
I want nothing to do with you know Biggie and Jay and just anybody from the past that ain't still doing it. Like
hmm
they just that's something that's irked me too. Cause I
hmm
remember my dad sat me down with the CD book when I told him I wanted to rap and said, "Oh yeah, you studying the classics." And he had everything from the East Coast, the West Coast, the South,
hmm
mixtapes, classic albums
hmm
from all eras, and I had to learn all of that.
Word up. Word up. So I don't know. And I'm torn, because it's like,
hmm
I'm the type to go, and if I need to know something, like I told you before, if I
Yeah.
need to learn how to do this, I'm gonna learn how to do this. You know what I'm saying? But
hmm
a lot of people that jump in, they're coddled, or they don't care to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, then you can't be upset at the consequences of your ignorance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So um, it's like, there's one aspect of that. Get it how you live. You should
hmm
want to learn and strive to be the best you could be. Then it's the other, where it's like, who's like, what could we do better as the vets, the teachers, to make sure that they
Mm.
understand this? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's where I'm torn at. It's like, could I be doing more? You know what I'm saying? Could I be like giving the game
Mm.
out? Because a lot of people don't like to give the game out. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
wonder why they don't know the game or care for the game. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people trying to make a
Yeah, that's
buck
a
off the
fact.
game. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
it's
a
like,
fact.
what could we do more? Like, instead of just looking down, like, oh, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? All that
Mhm.
new stuff. Y'all don't know nothing about nothing. You know how they used to do us. Like,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
look at that boy. You don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
the youth can take that
Uh,
one or two ways. So it's like,
mhm,
are we embracing them? You know what I mean? And giving their era a chance. You know what I
mhm,
mean? I uh I was just never really on that a little bit of the purist. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Mind state, but I knew that was gonna only keep me locked in one place, and I didn't want to be there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It holds you captive. You know what I mean? to your ideology. And I was like, all right, let me embrace the good that's coming from here,
Mm-hmm.
and we, like we could alleviate the bad, we could come to an understanding so we could all build together. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. I'm more of like a my mom says more of like humanitarian, you know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yo,
still,
word.
if it comes down to war, then what I mean, that's a different story. But that's how I
Yeah.
approach it. Yeah.
No, no, I feel that because I've that's something I've been learning. Like I feel like I learned it maybe like my last year of college because
Mm-hmm.
I was like such a purist
Mm-hmm.
that like it would almost irritate me when I went to parties and stuff. But then somebody sat me down and said, "Yo, you go to a house party or you go to the club and stuff, you really don't want to hear, like Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hear Kendrick Lamar. At the same time, it's like when to really like, kind of be in like deep thought or just riding around and stuff. I don't want to hear, like the club music. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hear it's like a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they said that, it's like, it makes sense. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, as long as they're not blatantly disrespecting what I got going on over here,
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be downing, what they got going over there because it's a time and a place for everything.
Right.
And I
Right.
think at that point, that's when I started to kind of get my respect for the other side or respect for artists that make a kind of music that I may not be into all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
I can respect that it exists and it has its own place
Mm-hmm.
in hip hop, in the culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it.
Yo, so tell me about the next show you guys have because I remember you were telling me about it earlier. It's called the Cypher You Takeover at
Yeah, man.
Art of Thrones.
Yeah, shout out to my organization, Cypher U. I love them so much. I just see like they the next generation, you know what I mean? Like I be talking about, like if you come
Nice.
to a cipher at Monday nights at the Freedom Expression Tunnel, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, July 29th, Arcade of Thrones, we doing the Cypher U takeover. We got, man, I don't want to leave nobody's name out, but we got so many dope artists. And Cypher U, if you know anything about Cypher University out
Mm.
here in North Carolina, we strong like Wu-Tang, man. There's members everywhere. You can go anywhere in North Carolina and ask them about Cypher U. Somebody gonna know something. So um, we just a community organization that just teaches the love of hip hop, freedom of expression, and the beauty of communication within people through the improvisational arts. So we've been doing that for like over a decade, and if people want to find out more information about it, they could go to cypheruniversity.com. Now you spell university, you spell the city with a C instead of an
Hmm.
S at the end. So university, just a play on the word. Yeah,
Dope.
university.com. But yeah, we got made so many more events, man. We back outside. That's the first. It's gonna catapult us to the next ones, and we just gonna keep going.
Yo, matter of fact, I meant to ask you about that. So, how did Cypher U get started? Because yeah, I know you one of the founding members.
Yeah, so Cypher University was a creation from the Monday Night Raw Cypher that would happen at NC State campus. State campus, the Freedom Expression Tunnel is our mecca for Cypher
Hmm.
University. That's the mecca of all the ciphers. So um, I went there. I came out there in like 2000. I would say like I came out here in '06. This is when I came out here. So I
Hmm.
found out about the cipher like 2011. Yeah, because
Oh,
they
dope.
started in like 2010. So I found out in 2011, started going out there. And from there, man, that was my therapy, man. That was my church. I went every week. I was late to work because I worked third shift. I was late to class because I was so damn tired. But I needed that, man. I needed that. And then it was a point where it fell off a little bit. Wasn't too many people coming out. And then we was like, let's bring it back. You know what I mean? Let's spread the beauty of this. And in 2012 we decided to make it an official thing. You know what I'm saying? An
Ah,
official
dope.
organization. From there we just took the code that we created that kept our cipher going for so long, and no drama, no BS, none of that. and we took it to different universities like ECU and UNC Chapel Hill and UNC Charlotte, and up in Asheville, the Appalachian State, and it's been history ever since.
Word, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that is dope. Like, that's been going on for so long. It's been like a safe haven. Like, there's been so many MCs that's out here. It's like, yo, man, I was at the Cypher. Or
Mm-hmm.
like they really got started or like kind of hone their craft at the Cypher. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, so make sure y'all go to the Cypher You Takeover. It's
Mm-hmm.
at you said July 29th.
July 29th, yes.
July 29th, Arcade of
Mm-hmm.
Thrones. Matter of fact, before we wrap it up, like, yo, where can everybody find you and just anything you got going on?
Man, listen, I got a lot going on. I appreciate y'all, man. They can find me at eternalthemc.com. Everything is consolidated there. So if you want to learn who I am, man, artist, educator, you know what I mean? It's all right there. Activists, all right there. Man, I'm just blessed to be alive in this space right now. You know what I mean? I really feel like God is telling me my blessings are right now. Your time is right now. And, you know, that's a 15-year career. So if I could offer any advice to, you know, aspiring artists, like just keep going, just keep going, keep learning, keep going. Don't give up. You will be recognized, you know what I mean? And people will start to open doors for you. You know what I'm saying? And you'll open doors for yourself. And there's no one way to do it. You know what I mean? There's no pure cut way to do it. So get it done.
Yo, that was great. I was just gonna ask you what would be your final words, but like, yeah, that's a perfect way. That's a perfect thing. It's like, yo, I had the questions here on the side, but honestly, we kept talking. It just you answered everything there, so I just
people. I promise you, this wasn't like
it worked
coordinated. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we vibe together off air. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is just another conversation for us, you know?
Oh yeah, after I ran out of that, we just kicked it like normal. I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just ask you what I would normally ask you if I see you in the street. It just worked out that way.
Exactly. Yo, tell the people about my favorite track for you. When you talking your shit, you know what I mean? On the first album.
On the first album.
Yeah, you talking to the shorties.
Oh, you talking about the Hey You joint?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I using your bag on that one.
Man, yo, okay. I'm gonna tell you about that because this interview is about you, so I'm gonna tell you that off air. But yo, I'm gonna make sure I got all the links, eternalthemc.com, your social medias, and make sure y'all see you, Cypher You, and you know, on the 29th of July at Arcade of Thrones, or or like any other event you guys, because I know you guys are gonna be moving. I know you're gonna be moving, and I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes peeled, man. So
word up.
You know, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight, man. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, bro. We're gonna continue to build. You already come to the Cypher, bro.
Oh, you know, I told you, bro. I gotta make it out. COVID told me, bro, I gotta go to everything. Everything open back up, so I'm coming through.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll see you in the flesh soon. You already know.
Oh, most definitely. But until next time, it's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, Dangerous Minds. Much love.
Peace, y'all.
She asked me my type and I told her black. Simple as that. I remember my pops used to tell me that she got nothing going for her, don't get too attached. Couple shots, I forget all that. Hit her phone like, what's up, girl, yo, where you at? And she already know what I'm on for with. And she like, boy, the f do you want?